right, hello everyone. I'm Daniel Corey, live at DangerKatt Central, sort of live, and I'd like to welcome you to the inaugural episode of Makers, where I speak with artists who shape and make culture. I'd like to introduce my guest, Kellindo. Kellindo is a musician, guitarist, and singer, songwriter, well known as the guitarist for Janelle Monae on her 4 Grammy-nominated albums, as well as her live touring band. He's also a solo artist with tracks already in release on all major musical outlets. Kellindo is a lot of exciting stories about people he's worked with and things that he's accomplished that he's going to tell us about. Today marks the release of his new single, Long Gone, a precursor to his upcoming rock opera album, Shattered Rhapsody. Without further ado, joining me from New York City, ladies and gentlemen, Kellindo, how are you doing? How are things in New York?
Wonderful. This is actually a great day. It's beautiful weather. You know, I had my release party earlier today, so
cool. I'm very honored that you're on the show here on your release day, so thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How are things like, in New York right now, just how's the mood, how's the tenor of things in general with the current world situation? All right.
Yeah, considering what we've been through this summer, this is probably the best that it's ever been since COVID happened and all the unrest that's been going on. This is probably the most people kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Yeah, it's still pretty rough out here. On the West Coast, we have these fires going. Things aren't as bad here in LA County for us, but I have friends up in Seattle and whatnot that have been going through something. So, prayers for everybody continued for, what's for the current situation. And I hope you guys continue to be safe out there and gets better.
Thank you. Thank you. You too, please.
Thanks. Thank you.
Stay dry, stay from being burned and protect your home and all that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Let's talk about some music, man. So, we'll talk about your new single very soon, but I want to get a little background first. But the first question I want to ask guests on this show, that's going to be the regular thing that I ask everybody. The first off, and you're the first person to hear this. So, I'm just going to say, what sort of art do you make, and what do you think is your role in shaping culture?
2 great questions.
Yeah.
I make art that I try to think of it as art that encompasses everything, as far as everything, even the sense of smell. When it comes to shows, I definitely would love to venture in more into that as well. But I want people to feel touched and moved emotionally. I want them to look and see the energy coming from anything that I put out there and stuff. So I would just say a very all-encompassing art, and of course rock and roll. And anytime anyone asks me like, what am I doing, what am I playing, I'm playing rock and roll. Yeah.
Sweet. And so as far as like changing culture, I mean, I know. So obviously, you want people to have a certain experience. Do you feel like you're going to bring about a change through this experience?
Yeah, I do. I really hope so. My overall goal and plan is peace and harmony and equality and love and respecting life and respecting each other and positive vibes of love and everything, because it's just so easy to, as we've been caged this year, we've all been caged animals. And I really felt like I was turning into a tiger or something, so I had to watch myself and kind of like take a step back, take a deep breath, and then meditate on my vibe of love, which is where I come from. And, we're only human, but we got to do the right thing. We also have to do the right thing when it comes to law. We have to, we are men and women, so speaking for police officers, speaking for non-police officers. And so we just have to just do the right thing, respect people's lives, whether you're on either side.
Yeah. I think of this as, especially with COVID happening, it's a real love thy neighbor moment. It's like, just wear your mask and stay indoors when you can and be socially distant. I'm a very big proponent of that. It's like, why should I have to do that? And all this sort of thing. I was like, hey, love your neighbor. That's the moment for this, that time.
Yeah. And I'm seeing that for the first time in New York in a long time, where people are, this one lady, there's this biker riding down Broadway, and this lady, he like his mask fell off or something, and the lady was like, "Hey, hi!" She was carrying her grocery bag and everything, and she's screaming at him to have him stop, and that's such an old school New York kind of custom.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's nice though when in these bad times when you see nice moments like that can happen.
Yes, absolutely.
And you as a music maker, it's not you just provide people with moments of goodness, when they experience your songs, or they're at a live show or just on the headphones or whatever. So it's very valuable, what you do. So thank you for doing it.
Thank you. I do my best. I will say though, this album that's coming up does have a little bit of a roller coaster ride. So there are moments of what we go through. We go through the ups and downs in life. So maybe a few downs in that album. Just gonna warn you.
Well, that's okay, because we need to see those too, so we can appreciate the good times, the good moments. So we need to see that in art as well, for sure.
Absolutely.
So now you come from a very distinctive family, accomplished in the realms of music and education. And if you could just tell me how that shaped your artistic journey.
Yeah, I mean, I was almost born at a James Brown concert. That's a start.
Nice. Not a lot of us can say that.
Right, I mean, crazy. Yeah, my mom and dad were there watching my uncle Maceo performing with James Brown, and
nice.
I think my uncle Melvin was on drums that night as well. And her water broke right there in her seat.
Oh man.
So it was time to go. So I looked at my birth certificate the other day and I was like, wow, that's really a true story. I was born at 27 p.m., something like that.
Yeah.
The show starts at 8, you know what I mean? And you
to
the hospital.
That's wonderful. Well, I guess, babies would have resulted from James Brown's music at certain stages. So,
one way or another,
not too far-fetched. That's great.
Yeah.
So, So you had two uncles in James Brown band, right? Yeah, and tell me their names and what they did.
Yes, Maceo Parker, legendary alto saxophone player, and also tenor player. He started out playing tenor with James Brown, and then Melvin Parker, who was the drummer, the funky drummer, and so funky, incredibly funky. And he's got two of his sons, two of his kids. Are amazing drummers. Marcus Parker, for one, he's still a great drummer, and he plays with me on occasion and stuff as well. And wow, he's basically like, he keeps the groove like my Uncle Melvin, but he has this crazy technique of like, a million beats per minute kind of technique.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, nice. And your father had some rather distinct accomplishment in the realm of education. You want to talk about that a little bit?
That's right. He was a major influence on me when it comes to law. The first Black law professor at Columbia University, the first Black professor at Columbia University.
Wow.
And so I would sit in on his classes and stuff, and I would just learn the law. And he'd always say the laws are made to be changed. They are made to be honored, but they're made to be changed too. And when laws don't work anymore for our modern day society, you got to change them, And so he's taught me a lot about that. And so I'm kind of that's why I'm kind of like an old school lover of just like peace, love. I hate war so much. Whenever I vote, I vote with that in mind. I'm like, okay, I don't want to go to war. Which president will make sure that we stay safe in all kinds of levels of life. You know what I mean? Including crime and policing and all that kind of stuff too. So, but yeah, my dad taught me really well, and then my Uncle Maceo taught me really well from the musical perspective. And so, being able to go to Maceo concerts, James Brown concerts, like Bootsy's Rubber Band, as a kid.
Wow.
I saw Kiss. Kiss was the first band I saw, the first rock band that I ever saw.
Yeah.
I was 8 years old. My dad took me and my sister to see Kiss. And no, I'm sorry, I was 10. She was 8. And my dad was like, okay, you're going to a concert. You need to look good. Wear your Sunday's best. So
at Kiss.
Very embarrassing. I didn't know this was going to happen, but I mean, I had a feeling this was wrong. But I'm wearing this brown Sunday suit, 3-piece suit. My sister's wearing this white dress. I mean, we must look like out of a horror movie.
Well, you probably, people probably thought you were in costume, and you know what I mean? Probably
Right.
okay. You're probably better off than you thought,
There you go. Yeah,
going for irony or something like that,
good point. Should have
Yeah,
thought of
wearing a
that.
Kiss concert, man. That's awesome.
Amazing. Yes.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
very cool. Yeah, I really appreciate that when I read that about your dad because, like, my mom she's in the medical field, and she was a LPN, she was an RN, then she was a family nurse practitioner for probably like 20 years, and then in the last about 7 or 8 years, she got her doctorates, and then she was hired, and she's my mom. I'm 45, so she's a certain age, but she was hired. She's ran like 3 different medical schools, as a woman of a certain age, you know what I mean? So yeah, I was always very proud of her for that. So,
That's awesome.
being accomplished in the realm of education and a higher discipline like that, I kind of connected with that, so very cool.
That's awesome. I was talking to my doctor at a checkup the other day, and I was talking to him about career. And this year was the first time I ever rethought. Did I make the right decision? I mean, I know I'm glad that I do what I do,
Mm-hmm.
but I wanted to be more help, because I couldn't really do much from my house other than writing music and recording, which is great. But
Mm-hmm.
the hands-on work that doctors do, that therapists do,
Mm-hmm.
dentists.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, man, if I, chose a different career path, I could be not only working during a pandemic, but
Yeah.
helping others,
Yeah.
So, but he said, no, I'm glad you're doing music. We need you. Trust me,
Yeah.
we'd be very depressed if we didn't have you. So
That's very true. I mean, I was on a Zoom call with a group of friends near the beginning of all this, and there was a fellow on the call who was a professor, who's a psychiatrist, and he was saying, there's a lot of people out there that don't have imaginations, who really need you. What you're doing is very important, because if they didn't have you, if they didn't have music, they would be sitting around going crazy with nothing to do. So
whew, yeah,
yeah, so it is important what you do, for sure.
thank you.
So I know at certain times we lose sight of that, and whatever it is our profession is, we lose sight and think
Yeah.
what they're doing is more important, but we all play a part. Yeah.
So true. So
So
true. Gosh, yes. Yeah.
so be encouraged, please.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
the lack of festivals this year, I think, had a little bit of an impact,
Mm.
on people's well-being, or happiness, I should say. Not
Yeah.
necessarily physical well-being, but
Mm-hmm.
they had to be stopped for a good reason.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Man, I don't know when next summer, next fall, we'll get back to all that. I don't know.
I hope so. I have a good feeling, just because the outdoor festivals, that's got to come first.
Mm-hmm.
I feel comfortable performing outside right now.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'd wear a mask most likely, or at
Mm-hmm.
least if I take it off, it'll be like just on stage, and put it right back on as I'm walking off the stage.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
if I feel that today, and trust me, I'm a real germaphobe. I've been
Mm-hmm.
cooped up in my apartment all year, so
Yeah.
I think next summer should be good. Praying for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I read that you have played with Prince and Stevie Wonder. That was part of your bio that came over here. And I see those names. You got to tell me all about that.
Wow. Yeah. Let's see. The first of the two, gosh, now it's a blur. I'm gonna say first time I would say it was with Prince, and that was at his house in L.A.,
Mm-hmm.
California, Beverly Hills. He called his friend in the club that we were playing at, the Roxy, and she was like, "Oh, hold on." Gave the phone to Janelle, and
Mm-hmm.
Janelle Monae picks up the phone. She goes, "Hello," and she's like, "Oh, hi, Prince." Like, what? And then,
Nice.
so she's like, "Go to your house and jam." So so we go to his house, and we're jamming in his awesome like room that's like well suited for a band to perform and
Mm-hmm.
jam in or whatever. And
Yeah.
that was the beginning of a wonderful friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So we did some shows with him, and he was very, very genuinely sweet and giving and nice and serious at the same time.
Yeah.
No, like, I mean, not too much goofing around. Every now and then we would go visit him, and we'd, watch a comedy show or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there was a party, he'd be the one totally cool and sober, and I'd be like, okay, I need to watch myself tonight. Totally honest shit.
Oh man.
So he was that guy.
Yeah.
And then Stevie Wonder, we've done some surprise shows with him where we pop in, or like he would show up. We did a thing, Flint, Michigan show to raise awareness with the water situation that was going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a surprise guest. I knew that he was coming, but the most of the audience didn't know. But he came in there and gave a great speech, and then performed with us, and he's one of those guys. With Stevie Wonder, I felt very nervous to make sure that my notes are 100% on point, because I just feel like he can hear better than anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, he's really that great as a pianist. I mean, gosh, I've seen him jam, you know, after concert jams, and he's playing like a great jazz pianist, you know, who can see. I mean, he's, you know, so I'm like, wow, I need to practice because I've got no excuses.
Yeah.
So amazing to play with both of them is such an honor.
Yeah, that's terrific. Yeah, I know what it is. I mean, like, you want to hang out with people that are better than you at what you do, and you tend to. It's kind of like we were talking about earlier. You tend to start being filled with self-doubt or whatever. But then it's like, hey, this is why I'm hanging out with these people, so I can get better and learn.
Absolutely.
But,
Yes.
Yeah, it's so amazing that you got to play with those guys. I mean, how brilliant is that?
It's just a dream. I remember trying to see them as a kid in concert and just never working out. Somehow there's some great artists that I've missed, as a kid growing up, and Prince was one of them, and Led Zeppelin, The Who, up until recently the Rolling Stones. So knowing that we were going to go on tour with them, I was just like, this is great. I get to see Prince in concert like every single night.
That's awesome. Did you watch From the Wings?
Yeah, absolutely. The first time we did a show with him at the Garden, the stage was shaped in the cymbal shape, and so I stayed in kind of like, it was like a backstage door that had a view of the stage, and so I stayed there and watched, and lo and behold, he turns around, walks down to me behind the door, opens the door, and he's like, do you know she always gets my hair? And I'm like, what? And so he's like, come on, play it with me. So literally my first time playing with him on stage at the same time was She Gets in My Hair at Madison Square Garden.
At the Garden, and just pulled right on, and you just flew and went with it, right?
Amazing. Yeah, I flew and went with it. It's somehow someone filmed it and posted it. I don't even know who did it. Whoever you are, thank you so much for doing that, because they just posted that one little moment, So
that was very special. Very special. Wow. That's exciting.
Right.
Cool, man. So as I mentioned in the intro, you play extensively with Janelle Monae and recording and touring. Give me a little rundown on that, how you met, what she's like as an artist, what's like working with her, what you've accomplished.
Yeah. Wow. We met through my friend, obviously friend now, but at the time I didn't know him, but Chuck Lightning, one of her producers and co-writers, and he walked into a studio session that I was in Atlanta, and he was like, hey dude, let me get your number, you're cool, you're black, you play rock, you sound like you can play jazz too, it's like a different thing. So he called me, and it was really to play with his band Deep Cotton, because Janelle Monae wasn't yet the first conversation point at that time. She wasn't signed yet to a major. So I met her at their studio, and the rest is history. I mean, went from that to let's get a record deal, and we recorded Metropolis, and I did my guitar parts, and was so excited because I felt like that album had so much high energy, and the shows were outstanding. I mean, just playing all those festivals like South by Southwest during that time. So much fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun being the MD as well, because I could sit back and come up with a set list that I knew would steal the show from everybody and showcase her in the right kind of way. And good times. Yeah.
So you're the director as well.
I was at that time, yes. When we were like rocking out, I was the musical director for several years.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
And what do you guys? I saw now she's got you got a new album with her, right?
Right.
Or a recent one, right?
Last year, or the year before last, the release of Dirty Computer came out, and the tour to follow, and it was amazing. Got to collaborate on a few of the songs as well, and electricity, lots of power, and lots of pro Black woman vibes, just showing the beauty and the power of the Black woman, and just felt so good as a feminist myself. It felt really good, and to be surrounded by so many beautiful Powerful Queens was something else. So yeah, great album, great couple of years. We're so blessed that we were able to do that tour last year, up until last year. It just ended, I feel like in November or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
like that.
yeah. I know my wife and I had just celebrated our 20th anniversary last December, and we got to go over to London and Paris to celebrate. We just under the wire. I'm just so thankful we were able to do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you guys went overseas together on a trip, or just?
It was the first time since our honeymoon. We went in 1999 on our honeymoon.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then this is the first time we got to go overseas since that time, so it was pretty special. But yeah, that's that whole thing, man. We're just under the wire. I felt pretty blessed by that.
Gosh,
But,
yes.
And I just want to throw it out there. My wife, Brenda, has been known to rock Make Me Feel at karaoke. So
Come on, Brenda.
thank you for your part in bringing that to the world and helping that to be a thing, because it's something we all enjoy.
My pleasure. Thank you. Hopefully she'll post something. We can watch it, huh?
I might have to dig through the archives and see what we have.
Come on. Karaoke. I love karaoke.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of crazy places here in LA that you could go to do that, and one of the things we're looking forward to doing again next year, hopefully.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
So let's see here. Let's talk about your music now. Long Gone, new single out today. Again, I'm so honored that you're here on your big day. It's very cool. It's such a cool song, and it's rock and roll, and it's like you were saying earlier, like, you were picked out because you were unique and you were playing rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah, so tell me all about the song, what it's about, the style of it. You got that killer riff, that rhythmic riff at the beginning, and influences that went into making this song. Just tell me all about it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, the song is really about that riff.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Is that where it evolved from?
Yeah, it did. It's one of those songs that I just was. What was I doing? I was watching. Typically what I do when I'm really, really off. I watch ESPN. Watch a lot of football, baseball, whatever, and all these anthems like songs come on with great guitar riffs and things, and I'm just like, ooh, yeah, I need to write a guitar riff song.
Yeah.
Come on now,
Yeah.
And so basically Long Gone was that. And so I took that riff to Nashville, of all places, and to Brandon James' studio out in Nashville. And, he collaborated with me on that and came up with some great melodies and lyrics and stuff for it. And here we are, Long Gone. And something that I would always say, whenever I say Long Gone, I say it kind of like with a twang.
Yeah.
Long Gone, because it's like, like
how they say it down in Nashville.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, let's call this song Long Gone,
I love it. Being from the South myself,
yeah. Right.
I've heard that.
But Orlando doesn't really have a twang, does it? Or is
everybody from all over the South congregates and ends up moving down to Orlando. So there's not really a distinct Orlando accent per se, but yeah, you're in and among it for sure.
Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of it. I don't have a strong accent myself. I do throw in a y'all every now and again because
Yeah.
So yeah, but so like, what's the message of Long Gone?
Good question.
Yeah.
It's really it's about a crazy relationship.
And
it's I want people to take it in their own way though, and to kind of put what they feel is about to them. But I will say it is definitely about a crazy relationship. And again, it's all about that riff.
Yeah. This crazy relationship is probably not an imagined experience, I'm guessing.
No.
You might have been drawing on some personal experience.
Yes. But crazy doesn't necessarily mean bad.
Right.
Crazy can also be fun. Like, this woman or man, likes to really party and have a great time, with just me. So,
yeah.
You and me, we long gone, yet we're really here.
So I like that. I like it.
Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. What status do you think the rock and roll genre has in today's scene? Things have changed a lot from, we got 60s, 70s, then to the 90s to today. What's the role of rock and roll?
Good question. I feel like it's dying, or at least sleeping. it's been kind of maybe ill and needed some doctoring, you know. But I kind of also feel like we're in a time similar to that of the late 80s.
Okay.
You know, when rock was not really rocking, it was kind of like sick and sickly. And the next thing you know, there comes Nirvana, Bleach, 1991. You know, and there's this whole new scene, and a lot of it comes from politics and stuff going on in the world. People needed to hear some dirty guitars and some, dirty ass screaming, you know what I mean? And, riffs and all that good stuff, distortion. And so then you have the grunge movement. So I feel like we are kind of like in the late 80s right now. So in a couple of years, when we're back to touring and stuff, I think rock will be back. People are going to be dying to see a live show with live musicians.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because obviously Nirvana was going to naturally come up in the conversation because they were such game changers. But it seems like every so often it's like these guys that come along that don't really know how to play really well or play at all. They make this a distinctive album, like we had the Sex Pistols, 15 or 18 years, however many years it was prior to Nirvana that did that. And even like U2 in their first album, they barely knew how to play, that was like 1980. But every once in a while things kind of reset like that. I mean, do you think things are going to reset in that way, or do you have any predictions on what's going to happen for rock and roll?
Yeah, I feel like it just has to naturally, because things have gotten so dumbed down, in a way. It's just art. I mean, I'm not trying to put anybody down, including visual artists. But, if you go to a museum, as you go through the different rooms of all the different, genres and time periods and stuff, and it's just like the Renaissance period, you're just like, oh my goodness, what in the world? How is this painting possible?
Yeah.
It's a painting. Someone put their hand to it with a brush and paint, like, what? And then you go to a modern room and you have to learn art to understand it and respect it. But if, without knowing much about art, you're going to be like, oh, so this person just took a can of paint and just dumped it on the canvas and said, voila, fini. Now it's a masterpiece, I'm sure. He's making he or she making a lot of money. But that's kind of how music can be too. So you have complex stuff, which I've had to dumb down. I only know this because I've been told by people in the industry that I need to dumb down a little bit so people can understand what I'm doing. Like too many chord progressions, and I know what that feels like because learning jazz. First time I heard jazz, it was over my head. It kind of like bothered me. It was too much brainy stuff. So I had to relax and just kind of listen to it more often and listen to the songs that are melodic. Kind of slowly get me into the chord progressions, the different voicings and things. So, but I think people will appreciate, again, going to live shows, because that's the thing. When you go to live shows and you see people who actually can play and sing, you're getting your money's worth when you go to a live show. If you can't play or sing at a live show, it's like, oh, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Shake that ass. All right, let's shake that ass. Strip club time, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
So I can't shake my ass. I mean, I can, but I'll lose audience members very quickly.
Yeah, but it's like even like the guys that like with Nirvana, Sex Pistols, like they couldn't really play that well, but they still had something intangible to what they were doing, I guess.
That's something funny. Yeah. I was gonna say they're known for not being able to play well. You're right. I've heard that from so many different places. I've always thought they could play well. I mean, they're not jazz or fusion players per se, but like David Grohl on the drums. I mean,
it's not disputing Dave's talent, nowadays for sure. Yeah.
Right. And then like Kurt Cobain had this Jimi Hendrix vibe to me. Like it was weird. I was just like, why does he remind me? He's lefty. I get that, but he just has this like I don't know. It's like this out of control, in the pocket kind of rock guitar playing, minus the funk and all the other stuff, but like with all the energy. I really, in the chord progressions, the chord voicings, I really, really respect their playing, which is kind of funny. I mean,
they're good at what they at the particular thing they did. That's what made magic.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. That's what it was. And the songwriting was really the best part of it.
Yeah, I was just talking to a friend the other day about U2's first album, and like in '81 it came out, and they were like 17, and I'm like, I can't write lyrics that good, now, you know what I'm saying? At 17, they were writing very insightful like concept album. It's mostly three chords, but sonically, it's like, there was just something special about what they were doing.
Incredible writing.
Yeah. So
I'm a huge fan.
So, we'll be on the lookout for where it's all going. But as you say, things will progress a little more starting next year whenever we're able to get back out on the road and see shows for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the football situation right now. You've got some cities, Tampa, where there's like 20,000 people in the stands. It's a start, So
yeah.
I'm always like, Florida for the win.
Sunshine State. Yeah. But I was going to ask you about the album, your upcoming album, Shattered Rhapsody. So it's being billed as a rock opera. Yes. So tell me about that. Like, what's the story, the concept? Are you able to share that?
I can share a little bit of it. I can just say that it's based on a crazy relationship.
Oh,
it's a love story. And when I say crazy, this is complete nuts. And but it's life, You go through the ups and downs of life and relationships, but this one, goes to kind of almost tragic proportions, and then goes from that to the main character finding God and peace, and so it's got an uplifting ending, I will say that. But very simple story about relationships, a lot of love songs, a lot of rock and roll, a lot of riffs, a lot of guitar, but it's not your typical rock opera where it's not like oh, I think I'm going to go over there. That doesn't quite happen. It's really just like a conceptual album with a hard concept. It goes right to the point. We stick on that point and drive it home pretty hard. So I can't wait to release it. I'm actually shopping it to labels because this is something that I just can't release on my own. It's too big for me to do myself. So we will see.
Cool. Yeah.
Pick it up.
Was that?
I said, we'll see who's smart enough to pick.
Oh, yes. I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for it for sure. Thank you. I've been learning a lot more about just how music is working these days, for independent releases versus labels, whatnot. My background is in graphic novels creation. I'm a writer, and it was a thing like in when you create the comic books, it's you generally, as a writer, you go hire an artist and you start off, you do your own, you start your own company and publish your own. And then from there, you can keep doing your own stuff, or you want to move up to, a major label from there. But you kind of always have to prove yourself in the self-publishing realm first. So what are your thoughts on that as far as like self-releasing versus label releases in the music realm?
I kind of think the self-releasing kind of sucks in a way because you're really releasing it to your friends and family, which is cool, but you can't. It's kind of hard to step above the noise that's out there when you're just like, "Hey, buddy, check out my, check out my new." Is that I'm not interested right away. Once I hear, "Hey, check out my new," no, I don't want to do that. Queen didn't have to say, "Check out my new album," "Check out my." They didn't even need commercials, I don't think. Like, go to the store, run to the store now and buy Bohemian, an Ivy opera. Like, So it takes a label, I think, to pay for the PR people that are incredible. They make sure that you see this album everywhere you go. And, seeing is believing, and hearing it from other rock stars, other artists saying, hey, buy his album, buy her album. People follow the leader and all that good stuff. So yeah, this definitely has to be some kind of production that someone's going to pay for. I'm already, I already put my eggs into this basket. So I want to, join with somebody who's got that power and that actually knows how to market.
Yeah.
I'm just a player.
Yeah. No, I have a ton of empathy for that. Right. Fully understand it. Yeah. I mean, it was like, I put out my own book and we did really nicely with it, and it was very well received. It got, some good attention, but it's, for the second book that I did, we signed with Image Comics, and they're pretty much the biggest independent publisher, in the country. They publish The Walking Dead and stuff like that. And so it's like your numbers just soar, and it's like everybody wants to buy your #1 issue because you're an Image book.
Right.
So when you team with, an organization that has a reputation like that, there's going to be a level of attention and success that comes in for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I totally get that. But there is something to starting off and doing your own thing though. kind of have to do that too.
I agree. I totally agree. And the people that are out there trying to start their thing, you got to do it. You got to start first, because record labels do like to see, you know, if it sticks, the whole spaghetti sticking on the wall thing or whatever. What can you do on your own? And if you do some things, you know, I will say a great thing for me was my song "When Flowers Could Dance" had over 100,000 plays on Spotify just 1 year, which is, you know, a year is a long time for other artists, but you know, for someone who's completely unknown with zero help from the industry, that's not bad. So imagine if they put the song on the radio. So
yeah, no, that's a wonderful accomplishment. 100,000. Yeah, it's terrific. Yeah. So I was going to ask, like, where you're recording the new music. I know you did the new single in Nashville, and it's like, so where are you recording it? And are you working with a producer?
Yeah, right here. Actually, I'm working with Kellindo, the producer.
Okay. All right.
I mean, some of the songs are produced by other producers. Jason Finkel produced a couple of the songs, and Brandon James, of course. But yeah, I'm here in my studio. You can't see because of that screen.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy there?
Who's that guy? But believe me, there's a whole bunch of stuff. I got the keyboard here on my right. I got the 2 orange amps here on my left.
Cool.
I'm surrounded by guitars and pedals. That's why I keep moving around, because I'm like stepping on these guitar pedals right now. You know? So I've been here on my computer since March, recording every day, to the point where I ended up getting carpal tunnel because I was so much typing. Yeah, so it's been kind of tough. I haven't been practicing as much. So, but I'm getting back, feeling a lot better. So I'm getting back on the guitar. But yeah, I'm really excited about this album. To the point of like, wow, I can't wait to hear what people say. They're not going to believe their ears. It's not what they're going to expect at all.
And do you have a projected timeline? You want to finish it in the next X number of months, or?
I want it done next week.
Oh, well.
I mean, it's really like, it's just almost completely mixed. Every time I start to master something, I'm like, oh, I hear a little thing I want to bring up or take out or whatever. So I'll say it could be done as soon as next week.
Oh, wonderful. Great. All right. Well, I hope you'll let DangerKatt Central have a sneak peek at it at some point whenever you're ready.
Oh, I will.
I will help you spread the word for that, for sure.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Anytime.
Yeah.
You mentioned about your gear you're encumbered in gear right now, and I want to ask you about that. Like I've seen online that you're a Fender guy. I'm a Fender fan myself.
All right. Yes.
And I love tellies. I love Telecasters.
Me
and you're playing a couple of wicked. I saw this wicked pink. Oh, there you go, Argyle.
There she is.
There you go.
I'm surrounded, literally.
Yeah. Sweet. So yeah, tell me about some of your guitars, pedals, mics, whatever you use.
Woo, gosh, yeah, I'm a gear nut. So guitars, I have not all in the house right now, but I've got a let's see, I have a 1957 reissue Fender Strat, which I love, and that's the one that's way back behind me. You can't see it, but it's the one that I played through the Mini Moons Metropolis era, Arcandroid, and I played a lot on tour. And then I have, of course, the Pinky right here, the Pink Beauty, the Paisley one. Yeah. And this one I use for the Pink song for Janelle, by Janelle Monae. And of course, I'm playing it a lot right now. It's got this natural telly tone. It's just so easy to play. I love rolling back on the volume and just getting that natural grit, or the chime or whatever when I get. And then let's see what else. I've got a Strat in a warehouse out in Atlanta, a white they call it a 1950s Strat. It's a newer Fender Strat that Fender sent me. So that's in the warehouse getting ready for it's because it's with the tour gear. Just when the tour comes or a show comes, boom.
Yeah. Okay.
Really shipped. So that's there. Excuse me. What else do I have? Oh, I have the Jimmy Page Telecaster.
Oh, I love those. Is it the Mirror or the Dragon?
The Mirror.
Oh, those are so cool. That like Olympic white finish and the rosewood fingerboard. Those are so nice.
It's got a big speed, but my buddy just called me right before you called me. He's a guitar tech as well, Paul, and he was just like, you know what, dude, you need to take that Bigsby out. It's messing with your tone. And I'm like, I knew it. So I'm probably gonna let it go back to original natural specs and stuff. It's such a great guitar. I love it. I love the feel of the neck. You know. And he also has it's a white Gibson Les Paul custom that's got the Jimmy Page electronics, so it's got the call taps and all that kind of stuff. the out of phase switches and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And a big fat Bixby. It's got a gold Bixby on that one that's working perfectly.
Cool.
And then I got the what do you call it? Alex Lifeson ES 355. I Gibson. That's a great one. I mean, there's so many guitars here. I mean, no guitars. I mean, yeah.
Very cool. I met the guy that built the Jimmy Page Telecaster. Is Paul Waller, right? Yeah. So there was the Fender Roadshow. The Custom Shop Roadshow was in Hollywood at the Hollywood Guitar Center. I went to see that. It was a lot of fun. And I went up and talked to him afterwards. My dad, like, dude, I love the Jimmy Page guitar. It's so cool. I played the production model of it whenever I get my hands on one. And he's like, oh, thanks. I mean, the sustain's not that great. It's okay. I mean, he was just so modest. That was the thing. I'm like, dude. I mean, it was really sweet to see that, that he's so modest about it. I'm like, dude, it's a great guitar. Don't worry. We love it.
I can tell you, the sustain is pretty good on mine, and I'll tell you why. I put a Hot Rails on the lead pickup.
Okay.
And let me tell you, it's, just stand the right spot, crank her up, and let her go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You play that through the orange?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Nice. Yeah. It's gotta be a nice sound. Yeah.
Orange is the best. I love orange with Fenders especially.
Yeah.
That tone, even though, I was going to say Apple. I'm looking at my computer. Apple amps, Marshall amps are like, the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
Say like the SLP, 59. But let me tell you, the new Holy Grail is this orange, that one. The orange 8030 is quite amazing. It's got the two speakers. It's got that Fender. It gives you like a Fender amp mixed with a Marshall kind of amp tone, and it's got that orange warmth to it. So the warmth with a Fender Strat or a Fender guitar, you just can't. It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
You can't defeat that.
Cool. I got a few more questions here for you before we wrap up. Well, first of all, tell us where we can find you online and where to get your music.
Yes, my music is available everywhere. So Bandcamp, Spotify, all that good stuff. iTunes, Apple Music, and I'm on Instagram. I'm the real Kellindo on Instagram, and Facebook. I'm just Kellindo or Kellindo Parker. I've got 2 Facebook pages.
Okay.
And Twitter, I'm Kellindo, Kellindo.
Okay,
so
cool.
Please follow, and I do these pop-up shows on Instagram Live, and I actually have a YouTube channel as well, which is
okay. Nice. Okay. Well, I want to implore everybody out there to buy your music. This is something I always tell people because we can go stream it on Spotify and all that, but if you go drop the $1 or so on a single or whatever, please do that. And I just wanted to let you know I put my money where my mouth is.
Oh, yes.
Got all of your available music on iTunes. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. And this, I just point out, that's my friends, Heather and Lomax and Bat Farm, good friends. But those are my other recent purchases. But yeah, so especially when I meet somebody like you, I want to actually buy your music. So,
Thank you
so go to Amazon or go to iTunes or wherever else you can actually put down money, because the streaming is not that lucrative,
to say the least.
Yeah. So, but it's like. But buy it and then stream it, and maybe get a little extra income going in. So let's support our friends who are indie artists out there.
Thank you. I do the same thing. I buy all my friends' singles. I post them on Instagram or whatever, and I buy my own singles too. I bought this one, I'm Gone, this morning.
Well, you want to have it in your phone ready to go in your iTunes queue there. So I guess why wouldn't you, right?
Right. Seriously, I need
cool.
it. Yeah,
so I just want everybody to know Kellindo's got a lot of other singles out there, and you have an EP, and you got the full album coming, which is going to hopefully be done next week.
Yes.
So yeah. So I want to close out today. I'd like to give you a challenge. So since you are a maker and we've well established that, I'd like to challenge you in the next few days. If you have a chance to make something unique, a creative moment, I'd love it if you could share it with me. It could be a photograph or a microburst of audio or video, something simple, not time consuming. If you're something you're going to probably do anyways, You know, it could be silly, it could be sublime. But if you happen to come upon a creative moment in the next few days, if you'd like to share, I'd love for you to capture it, email it over to me.
Okay.
And I'll share it with my readers here at DangerKatt and on my socials.
I will. I'll totally do that. Just
Cool.
remind me. I mean, all I need to do just I'll make a note too, but please remind me, like, you know, tomorrow.
Sure, absolutely, man.
Really
Is there anything else you'd like to say for the audience out there?
Just thank you for listening. Thank you, Daniel, for interviewing me. And
thank you for joining me, man. This is exciting.
Yeah, I'm totally stoked. I can't wait to see you in LA and we come out there and do a show. We had a Hollywood Bowl show like a month or two ago that was obviously canceled.
Oh, man. Well, you know, yeah, let me know when you're coming, because I definitely want to go and see you. So playing the bowl, that would be exciting. I would love to see you guys play the bowl. Yeah, cool, man.
We played with Stevie one time at the bowl.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
I know.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love bowl shows. I love bowl
Me
shows.
too. I fell in love with it when I heard Barry Manilow, a recording of him performing there. I was like, oh my gosh, the acoustics are amazing.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for everything. Thank you all for supporting and for listening.
Yeah.
And rocking out to Kellindo.
Yeah, man. So go buy his music. Go check him out on YouTube. Follow all of his socials, guys. And Kellindo, thank you. And I'm gonna end the show now, and then we'll wrap up. But thanks everybody for joining us here at DangerKatt Central. I'm Daniel Corey talking to Kellindo. Have a great and safe rest of your weekend, whenever it is you're watching this. Be safe. Wear a mask, social distance, and love each other. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.